When you see that plot resting on a hill, if a ghostly howl has you frozen still, feline frights etherealize, ghostly pets may start to rise, a creepy cat is out to terrorize. Welcome, foolish mortals, to the Haunted Mansion. I am your host, your ghost host. For more than 50 years now, I've been tasked with the responsibility of guiding the living visiting our tomb sweet tomb. Experiencing all 999 happy haunts is nearly an impossible task, and typically some go overlooked. For example, how many people are familiar with Waddles the duck, Macy the poodle, or Eric the snake, who met his fate at the blades of a garden rake? There's also Whiskers the cat, whose epitaph reads, "9 lives go so fast, poor Whiskers couldn't make it last." Now, they say when you see a black cat, it brings bad luck. But this unfortunate feline seems to experience all the misfortune for themselves. Between 1855 and 1862, Whiskers experienced some bad catnip, was trampled by a shoe, drank some sour milk, choked on a hairball, had a bad year in 1859 that led to 2 separate fatalities, fought a canine and lost, fell out of a tree, then expired one last time in 1862. The mansion in Anaheim is home to a different cadaverous cat named Miss Kitty.
In memoriam, Miss Kitty. After losing 8 lives, you still had no fear. You caught a snake in your 9th, and that's why you're here.
The next time you're exploring the boundless realms of the supernatural, keep an eye out for any phantom felines. Some of the portraits you'll discover in our gallery include images of our residents alongside black cats. There's also one particular changing portrait of a young lady who transforms in a flash and becomes a werecat. It's somewhat reminiscent of the Egyptian god Bastet. She's the daughter of Ra and is often associated with the all-seeing eye. She's also the only god who could transform into a cat. As with many Egyptian deities, she has a role to fulfill in the afterlife, serving as a guide and a protector of the dead. Ancient Egyptians absolutely adored felines and treated them like royalty. They were believed to bring luck, and anyone responsible for the death of a cat, even by accident, was sentenced to death.
But even sacred cats can't live forever. And when a cat died, he was given a funeral as elaborate as a pharaoh's.
Cats were even mummified and placed in tombs alongside their owners. The belief was that by placing cats and their owners in the same tomb, the pair would remain together in the afterlife. Centuries later, as mankind's beliefs and superstitions changed, so did the reputation of our feline companions. As hysteria took over the European continent during the 1400s, the foolish mortals at the time became obsessed with witchcraft. People accused of being a witch were often tortured and executed. Felines were often associated with witchcraft as well, leading some to believe that witches might transform into a black cat and prowl the streets in the dead of night. No longer viewed as good luck, some believed the cat's silence and mysterious ways were evil, and their piercing gaze demonic.
It was the evil eye, I tell you. I could feel his black spell creeping over me. Then all at once he turned into a terrible demon.
Through no fault of their own, the cat who was once worshipped in some civilizations, were now condemned and seen as evil. In 1843, author Edgar Allan Poe wrote a short story titled The Black Cat. This tale is narrated by a twisted individual who, in a fit of rage, cut out the eye of his beloved feline companion. The motivation for this heinous act was highlighted in a single passage.
Who has not 100 times found himself committing a vile or silly action for no other reason than because he knows he should not?
However, the guilt from his actions only grew over time. As the one-eyed cat gazed upon his owner, the man's guilt turned to resentment, prompting him to kill his pet. Now, this may not sound like the kind of fairy tale you'd expect the Walt Disney Company to adapt. It's a bit dark, don't you think? So it might shock you to find out that the one-eyed cat helped to inspire an eerie incarnation of the Haunted Mansion.
All happy haunts, except for that unnatural and dreadful one-eyed black cat. Ooh, watch out for him. He's very unnice.
Imagineer Ex Atencio had planned to use the one-eyed cat as an antagonist our guest would encounter while visiting our ghostly retreat. As the legend goes, the foolish mortals entering the mansion would be warned to beware the unnatural and dreadful one-eyed cat. In fact, some early recordings still exist.
All happy haunts, except for that unnatural and dreadful one-eyed black cat. Watch out for him. He detests mortals, especially happy mortals.
The villainous feline would have appeared near the climax of the attraction. The head of a one-eyed cat would materialize with an empty eye socket and a strange glowing red light illuminating from the center. Today, the Haunted Mansion is widely celebrated as the final resting place for several gracious ghosts that have chosen to retire here from creepy old crypts all around the world. Only happy haunts. The one-eyed cat serves as one of the few malevolent inhabitants of our ghostly retreats, and still can be discovered by anyone brave enough to look for the phantom feline. At the mansion in Anaheim, a strange statue appeared in 2021. When walking through the loading area, you may encounter a cat with one glowing red eye. Over in the Magic Kingdom, you may spot the one-eyed cat while waiting to enter the Haunted Mansion. Keep an eye out in the cemetery because this feline will show up on the side of one of our crypts. If you press your hand on the cat, you may even hear it start to meow. While plans for the one-eyed black cat didn't end up terrorizing guests in our ghostly retreat, it's fascinating to see the paw print that was left on the mansion. And who knows, with the right attitude and a slight personality adjustment, there may still be room for this phantom feline. After all, we have 999 happy haunts here, but there's room for 1,000. Or perhaps you would like to help fill our quota. Should you decide to join us, final arrangements can be made at the end of our tour. But for now, we'd like to hear from you. Was this your first time hearing about the one-eyed black cat? And would you like to see even more of this creepy kitten in the mansion? Tell us about it in the comments section below. And why not take a moment to watch one of these other films highlighting the residents of the Haunted Mansion?